Hello students, today we are going to calculate the example on GS method with considering the case of PV buses are present. So here the data of examples are given. We have to calculate the first iteration of power flow solution using GS method for given network. So let us understand what is given to us. So in table number 1 it is given that the generation and demand data of this system. We can say generation and demand data for figure 1. Okay. Then next is and one more thing, a bus number is provided to us 1, 2 and 3, and bus voltages are provided us for bus number 1 and 2. Then the generation and demand both are provided at each bus. Clear? Then in second table, the network data or we can say line data are given in table number 2. So here is the line impedance and line charging admittance is given. And here also we know that the line charging admittance is equally divided and added to the both side of the buses, means both side of the transmission line. So here it is given that the voltage at bus number 2 is maintained. Voltage at bus number 2 is maintained 1.04 per unit, and the limit for reactive power on bus number 2 is at maximum side is 0.35 per unit, and at minimum side it is 0 per unit. So for this network you have to calculate, or yes we can say calculate power flow for figure number 1 with this data. So yes, one thing we can say that here also it is given that we have to assume that bus number 1 is slack bus. So here we will write for bus number 1 it is slack bus. Now we need to identify these two bus whether it is PQ bus or PV bus. So let's start from bus number 2. Look at over here in bus number 2 the bus voltage is given and the generation is given, and also we can look at the data that is also said that the voltage limit and reactive power limit are specified on bus number 2. That means the bus number 2 is generator bus, or we can say PV bus or voltage control bus. Yes, we have already discussed in the theory that on generator bus the reactive power limit are specified or voltage limit are specified. So from this data we can get come to know that the bus number 2 is a PV bus. Then third number bus, look at the data, only demand is specified. Only demand is specified, demand of active power and demand of reactive power. That means only P and Q are specified. So we can say that, or even from the symbol of the diagram we can say that bus number 3 is PQ bus or load bus. So clear, the first step is to identify the buses if it is not given to us. Okay, now let's start the power flow analysis for this network. So our first step is we have to formulate bus admittance matrix. We have to formulate bus admittance matrix for figure number 1. And for that, we have to use the data which is given in bus number, table number 2. So let's start for calculating each of the parameter. Here one more thing, it is given line charging admittance. So let's see how we will calculate or formulate the bus admittance matrix. I hope you all have cleared about the formulation of Y bus matrix. If it is not clear to you, again let us just look over here. So here the line charging admittance is given, and we know that the line charging admittance is equally divided on this transmission line. Because we are considering the pi model of transmission line, so I can write over here in the diagram the line charging ad- admittance offered by the line number 1 and 2 is represented over here, and it is already given that yij dash by 2 means is already divided. So we directly consider that the value of these line charging admittance are equally divided at both the sides. Similarly, for bus number 1 and 3, the line charging admittance is 0.06, again which is equally divided both the side of the transmission line. Yes, because we are considering our line model as a nominal pi model. Clear? Same way for the bus number 2 and 3. Line number 2, 3. So for line 2, 3, it is 0.06. Same way over here, 0.06. So I hope you are clear that line charging, or we can say shunt admittance offered by the transmission line, is equally divided at both the side of the transmission line, because we are considering nominal pi model. If you wish, you can write over here pi model of transmission line. That's why it is equally divided. Here in our data, it is already equally divided admittance given to us. That's why we have considered directly that value over here. So let us start first calculate the shunt admittance due to the line charging admittance. So let's start from y10. So for y10, I will write the generalized equation for 1, and then I will write directly the answer for rest of the elements. So for y10, look at over here at bus number 1, the total shunt, or we can say line charging admittance, are offered by the transmission line number 1 2 divided by 2 plus, yes, 1 3 divided by 2, which is already given to us over here. So we can write y12 dash by 2 is 0.05, okay, plus y13 dash by 2 is 0.06, okay. Clear? So y10 is equal to, for this network, y10 is equal to 0.11 J. Then next y20. Similarly, we will calculate the value of y20, which is 0.11 J, and y30, which is equal to 0.12 J. I hope you have cleared up to this. Now, our next step is we have to calculate the rest of the parameter of our bus admittance matrix. So, let us start from calculating the y12. The value is given in impedance form. So we need to convert it into admittance form. So Y12 is equal to 1 divided by Z12, which is equal to 1 divided by 0.06 plus 0.18 J. So Y12 is equal to 1.67 minus 5J. Similarly, the value of Y13, value of Y13, which is equal to value of Y13 is equal to 1 divided by Z13, and the final answer I will write directly the final answer. If you wish, you can verify it by yourself. 15J. Next, Y23. Y23 is equal to 1 divided by Z23, which is equal to 2.5 minus 7.5 J. Now, after calculating all the parameters, now the next step is we need to calculate the diagonal element for bus admittance matrix. So let us calculate the diagonal element for bus admittance matrix. So Y11, equation of Y11 is equal to Y10, that is shunt admittance offered by the bus number 1, total shunt admittance at bus number 1, plus Y12 plus Y13. So we will get the final answer after substitute the value of Y10, Y12 and Y13. The summation of all three parameter will give the answer 6.67 minus 19.89 J. Similarly, we will calculate the second diagonal element Y22. Right, yes. Y20 plus Y21 plus Y23. Again, we will have all the parameters. So the final answer is 4.17 minus 12.39 G. And the last diagonal element Y33, which is equal to Y30, 31 and Y32, which is equal to 7.5 minus 22.30, 7.5 minus 22.38 J. Now we have to calculate or write the off diagonal elements, which is Y12 for the matrix, yes, Y12, 13 and 23, which is a negative of this original value. So let us write Y12 is equal to Y12 is equal to Y21, which is equal to minus of Y12. So here we have calculated the Y12, which is 1.67 minus of 1.67 minus 5J. So the final answer is minus 1.67 plus 5J. Similarly, we will calculate for Y13, which is equal to 31 equal to minus Y13, which is minus 5 plus 15J. And for 23, Y23 is equal to minus 2.5 plus 7.5 J. Okay. Now next step, after calculating all the parameter for the bus admittance matrix, the next step is you have to calculate net active and reactive power at each bus. So you have to calculate the net active and reactive power at each bus. For that we need this table. So just I'll copy and paste to the next page over here. Okay. Net active and reactive power for each bus. So let's start with bus number 2. You can say for bus number 2, we will calculate the P2 means net active power at bus number 2, which is equal to Pg2 minus Pd2, which is equal to, here the value of Pg2 is 0.2 per unit and PD2 PD2 is 0. So it is zero point 0.2 per unit. Clear? Similarly, reactive power at bus number 2, which is Qg2 minus Qd2, is equal to Qg2 reactive power generation. Over here it is not specified, so I will write just question mark because we need to calculate for bus number 2 minus Qd2. Qd2 is 0, so here it is a question mark that we need to calculate in our step number 9. Okay. Similarly for bus number 3, here P3 is equal to Pg3 minus Pd3, which is equal to 0 minus 0.6, which is minus zero point 0.6 per unit. And net reactive power at bus number 3 is Qg3 minus Qd3, which is 0 minus 0.25, which is minus 0.25 per unit. Okay. Now, our next step is we have to set the iteration count. We have to set the iteration count. So, here it is given that, or it is asked us that we have to perform this power flow analysis for the system for first iteration. So, set iteration count. So, for first iteration we will select k is equal to 0, and it is also given that the slack bus number is 1. So, right over here, bus number 1 is slack bus. So, and the value of that slack bus voltage we will remain same throughout the example. So, bus number 1 voltage at 0, bus number 1 voltage at first iteration, voltage at second iteration, voltage at third iteration, and so on will remain as it is given in the example, which is 1.06 plus J0. Clear? Now we need to assume the voltage for PQ bus because it is not given. For flat start voltage, we need to assume the at voltage at PQ bus. Voltage at PQ bus. So for PQ bus, the reference or initial voltage V30 is 1 plus J. Clear? Now, our next step, as it is given the PV bus in our system. So, our next step is step number 8, where we need to we need to check whether the bus is PV bus or PQ bus. So, if you wish, you can write yes. Check the type of bus. So, we will calculate start for bus number 2. So, bus number 2 is PV bus. So, here we can write bus number 2 is PV bus. And if it is PV bus, then we need to move towards the next step, means step number 8. If it is PQ bus, then we will directly jump to the step number 10. Okay, just recall the 14th step for, for power flow analysis using GS method with the case of PV bus are present. Okay, so step number 9 for calculating, here in step number 9 we will calculate this Q2 at bus number 2. Here, yes, we have got the question mark over here. So the value of this Q2 we will calculate in step number 9. Why? Because we need to calculate voltage at each bus. So for calculating the V21, which is already given, but the delta is not given to us. So yes, for that we need to calculate the Q2 1. And here it is given the limit of reactive power at PV bus is 0 less than Qg2 less than 0.35 per unit. Yes. Okay. So let's calculate the reactive power at bus number 2 using step number 9 and equation number 8, which we have derived in previous lecture. So Qi k plus 1, I will write the generalized equation, then we will calculate the reactive power at bus number, which is equal to minus imaginary portion of Vi raised to k conjugate minus, summation j is equal to 1 to I minus 1 by ij into Vj raised to k plus 1 plus Bi k conjugate into summation of j is equal to 2 y j is equal to 2 to n. In summation, it is y ij into Vj is to bracket. In previous lecture, we have considered the condition j not equal to I. Here both the side. But it is not true for this equation. So just consider that such kind of condition is not given in this equation number A, step number 9. Okay, is not given this condition where we have considered j not equal to I. Okay, so now for our bus number 2, we have to substitute I is equal to 2. For the first iteration, we need to substitute k is equal to 0. And for the entire network, total number of buses are 3. So the value of n is equal to 3. So substitute all this value into equation number A. We will get q2 1 which is equal to minus imaginary portion of this equation v2 0 star into, yes, for this first summation just substitute the j is equal to 1 to I minus 1 where I is equal to 2. So j is equal to 1 to 1. So for this summation value of j will be 1. So it is, and yeah, I equal to 2. So it is y21 into v1 1 plus, for the next summation just substitute n equal to 3. So we will get the value of j is equal to 2 and 3. And yes, again the value of I is equal to 2 and k equal to 0. Yes, you can write over here. So for this summation, we will have the value of j, 2 and 3. So for both the value, we will write v2 0 star in v2 0 star into bracket. Yes, for j equal to 2, I equal to 2, it is y 2 2 v2 0 plus y 2 3 as the value of j is 3 v 2 0. So here is the expand uh, expansion of this equation A with this value. Okay, so now I will substitute the value, but before substitute, just take a common vi, okay, v2 0 star from this equation. So we will get v2 0 star, we get common. So here in the bracket, I will have y21 v1 plus y22 v2 0 plus y23. Clear? Now substitute the value of each parameter which we have derived previously. So we will get final value like imaginary portion of this equation is P2, which is given as 1.04 is minus J0. Then we write the different brackets so we will get understand easily. S minus y21, S y21 is 1.66 and the value of this minus y21 for the matrix is minus 1.6. Okay, so here is minus 1.67 plus J5. Yes, you need to be very careful during this mathematical calculation. Yes, again the value of y23, here the value of next y23 for this is y22, which is 4.17 minus 12.4j into bracket v20, which is 1.04 plus j. Yes, here it is. And for the last portion, it is y23, which is minus 2.5 plus 7.5j bracket 1 plus j. Clear? So the answer of these, you will verify it by yourself and just write the final answer. Imaginary portion, which is 0.0621 minus j 0.1035. So the final answer for reactive power at bus number 2, we can say net reactive power at bus number 2 is minus of this imaginary portion, that means 0.1035. Sorry. This is the final answer for reactive power, or we can say net reactive power at bus number 2. Clear? I hope you have clear the calculation of reactive power at bus number. Next, so we will get the value of reactive power. Now, just check the value of reactive power of bus number 2. That means Q21 is within specified limit, within specified limit. Yes. So the range is given over here. Yeah, here it is. So we will get the value of Q21 is Q21 is 0.1035, and yes, it is within this range. So we can say the range limit is not violated. So the bus number 2, so the bus number 2 can be treated as PV bus. Okay, if the limit is violated, then if the limit is violating, then the PV buses can be treated as PQ. Okay, so now our next step is we have to just calculate the V21, which is already given. But why we need to calculate the V21? To calculate, yes, if you wish, you can write. We need to calculate the V21 because we don't know the value of delta 2 at bus number 2. So for calculating this power angle delta 2 or angle delta 2 at bus number 2, we need to calculate V21 again. So we know the equation for calculation of voltage at bus number 2. So if you don't know, just remember or recall the case where we are considering the PV buses are absent and the step number 7 and the equation number 7. So from that We'll write directly the equation for bus number 2 is P2 minus JQ2. JQ2 1 which we have calculated in previous step or not previous step over here. Yes, this value V2 0 star minus Y21 B1 minus Y23 Y23 B3 0. Yes, if you wish you can write equation number 7 in step number 7 of case A with the value of I is equal to 2, k is equal to 0 and n equal to 3. So you will get this final equation for voltage at bus number 2. So here I will substitute the value of V21 1 divided by 4.17 Y22 which is 4.17 12 minus 4j into bracket P2 which is 0.2 minus Q2 which you have derived over here. So consider the value of Q2 is 0.1035 G divided by 1.04. Yes, V20 which is given 1. Yes, it means yes over here. The angle is not given, so our objective is we have to calculate the angle for bus number 2. Okay, so yes, why we need to do this? Because on PV bus only P and V specified, so we have to calculate the Q and delta at PV bus. So Q we have already calculated, so for that delta we need to calculate V2 again. Okay, here J0 minus Y21 which is minus 1.67 plus 5J V11 voltage at bus number 1 which is slack bus voltage which is already given to us minus Y23 which is minus 2.5 plus 7.5 J into bracket V30 which we have already considered for flat start voltage at bus number 3 or PQ bus 1 plus J 0. Clear? So the final answer is P21 is 1.0436 with the angle of 0.4892. So here, yes, one more thing you need to verify that the value of V2 will remain same or nearly equal to same. Nearly equal to same. Just look over here, the value of V2 is given as 1.04 and after calculation of V2 again you will get the 1.0436. So there will be no change or minor change in your voltage value if you will calculate it again. Okay? Why? Because we need to interested in calculation of what angle of voltage V2. So can write over here delta 2 at first iteration is 0.4892. You have clear. Now we'll get we get the V2 1 mode of V2 1 which is equal to V2 1 specified with angle delta 2 1. So initially we will have the value of this V2 1 is 1.0. Clear? But now we will get this as a V21. Clear? So I can write V21 is equal to, now it is 1.0436. Previously it is only 1.04 plus J0, but now it is 1.0436 with the angle of 0.4892 degree. Yes, in polar form it is 1.0435 plus 1.0435 plus 0.009. Okay, so this is the final value of voltage at bus number 2 after first iteration. Clear? Now our next step is we need to we need to calculate the voltage at bus number 3. Okay, so in our next step we need to calculate the voltage at bus number 3. Yes, for bus number 3. After completion of calculation at bus number 2, now we move towards the bus number 3. So again we know the equation. Yes, this equation at equation number 7 in step number 7 of case A. So using that same equation we will calculate V31, that means voltage at bus number 3 at first iteration, which is 1 divided by Y33 into bracket P3 minus JQ3, which is equal to V30 star, V30 star minus Y31 V11 minus Y32 V21. Okay, we have, we have substituted or consider T I equal to 3, K is equal to 0 and N equal to 3 in equation for PQs. Okay, you wish you can write the voltage at bus 3, which is PQ bus. So using this equation we will get final value of P3. So after substitute all the values of this parameter, we will get the final answer. V31 is 1.0278 with the angle of minus 0.020. No, it is not angle, it is minus 0.020 J. Okay, so the next step is we need to calculate the change in voltage. Change in voltage at bus number 3. Yes, we need to repeat the same process which we have previously done for the PQ buses. So voltage at bus number 3 is V31 minus V30. So V31 we have calculated over here. So it is 1.0278 minus 0.020 J into bracket V30 minus into bracket V30, which is 1 plus J0. Yeah. So the change in voltage at bus number 3 is 0.027 minus 0.020 J. Here, now we need to multiply with acceleration factor alpha. So the final step for voltage at bus number 3 is V3 accelerated, which is equal to V3 0 plus alpha into delta V3 1, which is equal to V3 0 is 1 plus J 0 plus alpha, value of alpha is 1.6 into bracket delta V3, which we have over here. So it is 0.027 minus 0.020 G. Clear? So the final answer for voltage at bus number 3 after first iteration is 1.0296 minus 0.020 J. This is your final answer for voltage at bus number 3. Okay. So I hope you have cleared about this power flow analysis using GS method with both the cases. That means PV buses are absent and the second case where PV buses are present. Okay. I hope you have cleared. Now next is we have to calculate the power flow. It's not asked, but our main objective is to calculate the power flow and power losses of the system is given in figure number 1. So I will give one homework to you. You all are just need to calculate the power flow between bus number 1 and 3. Also calculate the power losses. So you need to calculate the power losses and power flow for bus number 1 and 3. And using the equation for yes S12 13, which is equal to V1 into I13 star, and for power flow from 3 to 1 you need to use S31, which is equal to V3 into I31 star. Okay, and for power losses I'll write over here. Yes, for power losses between or power losses from bus between bus number 1 and 3, you have to write the summation of S13 plus S31. This will give the power loss between bus number 1 and 3. Okay. So using this all equation, I will give the homework. You have to calculate the power flow and losses between bus number 1 and 3. Okay.